Hi friends, welcome back to my lecture. So in this lecture, I am going to teach you the gravitation numericals. I've heard from many of the students that they feel the calculations in gravitation numericals are a little tricky. So we are going to solve today each and every numerical in your gravitation chapter, starting from solved examples to your problems in the exercise. So for that, I have prepared a list of formulas wherein you need to note down them and then use them in your sums. So these are the only formulas that you need to use in your gravitation numericals. Not an extra formula is needed to solve your gravitation numerical. Okay, so let's start. The first solved example that is given in your textbook says Mahendra and Virat are sitting at a distance of 1 meter from each other. Their masses are 75 kg and 80 kg respectively. What is the gravitation force between them? Now, among these formulae list that I have created, you need to use one formula and solve the sum. So the formula that you are going to require is this now. Why? Because they have asked you the gravitational force. So gravitational force can be given by Gm1 m2 upon r square. So let's start. Before that, we need to write down the given part. So what is given in the sum? You are given m1, that is the mass of the first person Mahendra, that is 75 kg. m2, the second mass, that is 80 kg. Okay. So the next one you need to find is the distance between two. So they have given what the distance is? 1 meter. So your r is 1 meter. Fine. Now what you have to do is you need to know what is g. Now you have m1, m2 and r square with you. You need to know what is g. So the required value of g you need to always remember is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11. Okay. This is the value of g that you need to remember always. And this is the unit for it. Newton meter square by kg square. Now we'll substitute. So the formula first I am just writing down. The formula is F is equal to Gm1 m2 upon r square. So my F will be equal to G, that is 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 into m1 75, m2 80 upon r square. R square is 1 square. Now, you have to multiply these first. So, let's calculate what is 75 into 80. So, 75 into 8 first. So, 75 into 8, that is 40 and then 60. And 1 0 is still pending. So, 6.67 into 600 and 1 0 I am adding this 0 here into 10 raised to minus 11 upon 1 square. No need to do that. Okay, so now what will we do is we will calculate this 6.67 into 10 raised to 3 into 10 raised to minus 11. What did I do to this 10 raised to 3? There are 3 zeros after 6. That means it is 10 raised to 3. So 6.67 into 6 now you need to calculate. Okay, and what is this? 10 raised to 3 into 10 raised to minus 11. During indices what it happens? 3 minus 11, that is 10 raised to minus 8. So what you have to calculate now? 6.67 into 6. So what will it be? Here it is 42. 6 6 are 36 plus 4. 40. Again 6 6 are 36 plus 4. 40. There are 2 decimal places here. So I put a point here. That is equal to what? 40.02 into 10 raised to minus 8. So the answer that is given in your textbook is what? 4.002 into 10 raised to minus 7. Now how did this come? Because I shift this decimal point here, my 10 raised to minus 8 is multiplied by what? 10. Okay, my 10 raised to minus 8 gets multiplied by 10 and therefore this becomes 4.002 into 10 raised to minus 8 into 10 is what? Minus 8. 10, the power for 10 is what? 1. So 10 raised, that is 10 raised to minus 8 into 10, what happens? This power is 1. So 10 raised to minus 8 plus 1. This is 10 raised to 7. Did you get that? Therefore 10 raised to minus 7. Therefore you write here 10 raised to minus 7. So your force becomes 4.002 into 10 raised to minus 7 Newton. Never forget to write the unit. Okay, so now let's move to the second sum. What does it say? In the above example, assuming that the bench on which the Mahindra is sitting is frictionless. Starting with 0 velocity, what will be the Mahindra's velocity of motion towards Virat after 1 second? Will this velocity change with time and how? Okay, so to solve this sum, what are we going to do is, first you need to find what? The velocity. What will be Mahindra's velocity they are asking. So they are asking what will be the velocity. Now when they are asking for velocity, start finding the formula which is given for velocity. So where can you see that? You can see that here v is equal to u plus at. This gives you the velocity formula. Also this gives you the velocity formula. Now any of the formulas you use here, you need to find the acceleration. So here is a present, here is a present. So in both of the formulas, a is to be found out. Now what is a? A is F by m. So therefore I am telling you, you need to remember these formulas by heart. Any formula you need to use, you need to recollect it and then put it on your paper. So a is what? F by m. So a is equal to F by m. Also, what is F now? F is what you've calculated in your previous sum. So the previous sum, what did we calculate? F is equal to 4.002 into 10 raised to minus 7. So we'll substitute that here. 4.002 to 10 raised to minus 7. Okay, what is mass? What have they asked? Mahindra, right? Assuming the bench on which Mahindra is sitting is frictionless and starting with 0 velocity, what will be Mahindra's velocity? If you want to calculate Mahindra's velocity, obviously you need to use Mahindra's mass. So what was Mahindra's mass here? The masses are 75 kg and 80 kg respectively. What? Mahindra and Virat. Therefore Mahindra's mass was 75 kg. So we'll put that 75 here. Okay. So acceleration comes out to be 5.34 into 10 raised to minus 9 meter per second square. In each and every formula, when you calculate a number, try to put the unit for there and then. Okay, do not forget to put the unit. Now you have acceleration. You can easily find out your velocity. They've also given that starting with 0 velocity means what? Your initial velocity is 0 and you need to find your final velocity. So have they given you any distance between them? Here in this formula, if you want to use it, you need to have the distance. As we do not have the distance, we will eliminate this formula and go to this. Have they given out t anywhere in the sum? Yes, they have given out. What? Mahindra's velocity of motion towards Virat after 1 second. That means t is equal to 1 second. Now what will you do? You will put out this formula plus at. Now v is equal to initial velocity is 0 plus a is what? 5.34 into 10 raised to minus 9 into 1. Fine. That is equal to what? Now what will happen? V is equal to means 0, that's of no use. 5.34 into 10 raised to minus 9. Fine. So this is your answer. So your velocity will be 5.34 into 10 raised to minus 9. The unit for velocity is meter per second. So this is your velocity. What is the second part they have asked? Will this velocity change with time and how? So the answer is the velocity will increase with time because of the acceleration. The acceleration is also does not remain constant. Why? Because Mahindra moves towards Virat. The distance between them will go on decreasing continuously, causing an increase in the gravitational force between them, thereby increasing the acceleration, and therefore because the acceleration goes on increasing, the velocity also goes on decreasing. Fine. So you have got the answer for velocity as well as why the velocity is changing with time. Okay, now let's go to the next sum. So what does my next sum say? Calculate the gravitational force due to Earth on Mahendra in the earlier example. Now in the previous examples, what have we learned? We have calculated the gravitational force, but with respect to Virat. So in this sum, Mahendra and Virat. So both of them, and then we have calculated the gravitational force between both of them. Fine. Now what have they asked here is calculate the gravitational force between Mahendra and the Earth. So for that, what you need to require is mass of the Earth as well as the radius of the Earth. So let's first note down what is the mass of the Earth. So mass of the Earth is always equal to 6.0 into 10 raised to 24 kgs, and the radius of the Earth is always 6.4 into 10 raised to 6 meters. So these are some of the constants that you need to remember always. Now, as they have given Earth, we need to use the mass of the Earth as well as the radius of the Earth. So the formula remains the same. What is it? F is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. So what is G again? Same, 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11. Now one of the mass will be Mahendra's mass and the second mass will be Earth's mass. That is 6 into 10 raised to 24. 6 into 10 raised to 24. Okay. So one mass will be Mahendra's mass. That is what? 75, as we've seen in the previous sum, into 6 into 10 raised to 24 upon r square. R is the distance between the two objects. What are your two objects here? Your Earth and your Mahendra. So the distance between them is what? The radius of the Earth. So let's put that 6.4, sorry, it was 6.4 here, right? 6.4 into 10 raised to 6, that is square. So again I write down here 6.4 into 10 raised to 6. Fine. So this is your answer. Now we need to calculate this. Pay attention here now. What will I do is I'll take away all my numbers on one side and all my raised to numbers on other side. So I'll just calculate this 6.65 into 75 into 6 upon 6.4 into 6.4 into, now I'll calculate only my indices. So minus 11, 10 raised to minus 11 and 10 raised to 24. What will it become? So it is what? Minus 11 plus 24, 13. So here it becomes 10 raised to 13. What remains? 10 raised to 12 remains over here, because 6 plus 6, 10 raised to 12. What will this become? It gets cut away and remains only 10. So all my indices part is gone and only one single 10 remains now. Now we need to calculate this part. So let's do that. So first we'll calculate 6.4 into 6.4. What is it? 6.4 into 6.4. So 4 4s are 16, 1, 24, 25, 0. Again 6 4s are 24. Carry over to 36, 38. Answer is 6, 9, 10, 1, 4 and 2 decimal places. So upon will be 40.96 and in the numerator what will happen? 75 into 6. Fine. For 75 into 6 what will happen? So 75 into 6 is 30 and then 42, 43, 44, 45. So this is 6.67 into 450 into 10. Fine. Now what will we do is multiply 6.67 into 45. Okay. So this is 35. This is 33. This is 33 again. Next 0, then 28, 2 carry over, 24, 25, 26, 2 carry over, 24, 25, 26, and this will be 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10, 1. Okay, so what I've got here is 30015, because it's 2 decimal here, into 10 raised to 2. Why did I write 10 raised to 2? Because it's 1 0 here and 1 0 here. I did not use the 0 while calculating. Okay, upon 40.96. Now what will you do is, you will first divide this part. So let's consider roughly this is 300 upon 41 into 10 raised to 2. So let's calculate, that is 300 divided by 41. So what is 300 divided by 41? 300 divided by 41 will be approximately, let's say 41 sevens are 287, say it is. Then after subtraction, what it comes out to be? 291. So this is 3, this is 1, 0. So again, after this it will become 3, it will become 123. After subtraction, this will give out 7. Okay, now this will go on extending. Now what will be your answer here? Approximately 7.3 into 10 raised to 2, that is 730. Fine. Now the example, the answer that is given in your textbook is 733. So while calculations, this is accepted. Okay, so the answer given is 733. What we have got is 730. Now this approximation is accepted, and this you can write 733, or you can leave it at this position also. Okay, so now let's move forward to the next sum. The next sum says, if a person weighs 750 Newton on Earth, how much would his weight be on the moon, given that the moon's mass is 1 by 81 of that of the Earth and radius is 1 by 3.7 on that of the Earth. Okay, so they have given W1, that is weight of some person is 750 Newton. Okay, after that what have they asked? They have given is the moon's mass is, so mass of moon is equal to what? 1 by 81 of that of the Earth. Okay, next what have they given? The radius of the Earth is, the radius of the moon is so equal to 1.3.7 of that of the Earth, so RE. So you have two equations with you. You have W1 also. So what do you need to find now? What would be the person's weight on the moon? So here we need to use the formula, that is W is equal to F is equal to M into G. So using that formula, what can you do now? I'll just keep it here. So for that formula, I'm just writing the formula here. Okay. So using this formula, now you can write the weight on, say, Earth. Okay. So this is also my E. Weight on Earth is 750 Newton. So according to this, I can write weight on Earth is equal to mass on Earth into G. Okay. And also for moon, weight on moon is equal to mass on moon into G. Fine. Okay. So till here we have done. Now the next formula what we are going to use is G is equal to capital G capital M upon R square. So let's write down here that G is equal to capital M capital G capital M upon R square. Now you can substitute this G in both of these formula. So let's do that. ME G M, for Earth it is, therefore this, for Earth R square. For moon, for G we are going to substitute here, right? G M m upon r m square. Now what are you going to do is, you know that the weight is 750 here on the earth. So let's substitute here. 750, okay, is equal to me g me upon re square. And you know, here it is same. Now what am I going to do? I am going to remove this me. You know why? Because the mass on the earth, or maybe anywhere on anywhere, suppose it will be made on moon or earth, the mass remains the same. It does not change. Mass is always same on any planet, any place on the earth. Okay. So what am I going to do? The mass remains the same. So I am going to bring this in terms of mass. So me is equal to what? Me is equal to 750 into re square. 750 into re square upon gme. Similarly, I am going to write this also in terms of mm. What is this? Wm, that is weight on the moon. That is what you need to find out. So W on the moon into Rm square upon GMM. Fine. This is what you got. Now you know that these both of them are same. So you will write a statement down. Because mass remains the same anywhere, be it moon or the earth. So we'll equate Me is equal to mm. So what will happen? If Me is equal to mm, this will be 750 into Re square, okay, upon Gme is equal to Wm into Rm square upon Gmm. Okay. Next, what will I do? Now I will solve this equation. So that will be 750, okay, 750 into Re square, and I'll bring this Rm down here, okay, Rm square. Next, what will I do? I'll also bring this Wm, sorry, I will keep that Wm this side on the RHS because I need to find Wm. What if they ask the weight on the moon? What should be the weight on the moon? So I'll keep this on this side only. Other things I'll all bring on the left hand side. What is remaining now? G. So here there was a G. I bring my G here and also my mass on the mm here. Also I have my Me also present here. So here. Fine. This is what I've got. Next, what will I do now? I will cut out this G and G. Both of them will be same again. So I'll just cut out them. Again, then 750 into my Re square upon Rm square. Already I have written here, right? Rm upon Re relation we know. So what is the relation? Re upon Rm square will be 3.7 square because it is Re square upon Rm square. Next, again, mm upon me. What will be mm upon me? Mm upon mv will be only 1 by 81. 1 by 81. Now what will be the answer to this? After calculating, you will get your answer as 126.8 Newton. Okay. So this is how you solve. First, what will you do? You will write down the given part. Never make a mistake here also. Never put it me is equal to 1 by 81 mm. This will make your entire sum wrong. Okay. So first write this given part. Then what have we done is we'll equate. We have a formula that says W is equal to F is equal to mg. And then we also have a formula G is equal to Gm upon R square. Okay. So what did I do? I substitute this G into for We and Wm as well. Then I put both the equations, that is both the formulas in terms of mm and me. Why? Because my mm and me are both same. Masses are same anywhere. Okay. So therefore I equate both of them, and after equating these two, what will I get is this equation, and then I'll just substitute my Re upon Rm square and Me upon Me, which will lead to my answer 128.8. Okay, so now the next sum says an iron ball of mass 3 kg. So let's write down what is given. Mass is equal to 3 kg. Next, your height, they've given from a height of 125 meters. So let's write down that. Next, what is G? They've given, assume that G is 10. Okay, now time taken to reach the ball on the ground. So time taken is this formula, this formula, this formula. This third formula does not contain time, so just eliminate it. You can use this or this. Since they've given me the height, that is S, I will use the second formula. Now what will be your U here? U will be 0 because whenever you release an object from top, first of all the initial velocity will be 0, and when you release it, its velocity starts on increasing. So your S will be, your 125 that is given will be 0 plus 1 by 280 square. That will be, what is A now? A will be 10. That is acceleration due to gravity is equal to T. You will not find A by F by M method here because they've given you to assume A as, that is acceleration due to gravity, as 10. So this will be 5, and 125 upon 5 is T square, that is 25. Therefore T becomes 5. Next, what have they asked you? They have asked you to find, well, height of the ball at half the time. Now what is the time taken? 5. So half the time is 2.5 seconds. Next, height of the ball at half the time it takes to reach the ground. They have asked you to find the S at 2.5 seconds. At 2.5 seconds, what will be your S they have asked? So S is equal to, again, ut plus half at square. So S you have to find out. S is equal to, what is U? 0, half, A is 10, T is 2.5 square. So this will be 5 into 2.5 square. So when you calculate this, this comes out to be 31.25 meters. So S is 31.25 meters. Next, velocity of the ball on reaching the ground. Now you can use for velocity this formula, this or this. Now for velocity, you cannot use this because this does not contain capital V. Therefore, you need to use this or this. So, say I use this because I have already my S with me. I know what is A. Also, I can use this formula also, no problem, because I know time also now. So, you can use this or this, you will get the answer same. So, say I am using this. V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. So, V square is equal to U is 0, initial velocity, 2 into 10 into, what is my S? 125. So, 125 into 2 will be 250 and then multiply by 10. So, V square is equal to this. So, V will be what? Square root of 250, 2500. So, that will be 25 into 100. That will be what? Square root of 25, 5. Square root of 100, 10. That is 50. So, your V will be 50 meter per second. This is T in seconds and S in meters. Okay, never forget to write the units. Now, let's move to the next sum. Okay, so my next sum says a tennis ball is thrown up at and reaches a height of 4.05 meters before coming down. What was the initial velocity? How much time, total time will it take to come down? Now assume G again they've given. Now whenever you throw a ball against your gravity, that is upwards, your G, even though they have given that G is equal to 10 meter per second, you need to always write G is equal to minus 10 meter per second. You know why? Because you're throwing your ball against gravity. Okay, you're throwing from down to up. Therefore, your G becomes minus 10. Your gravity becomes negative. Okay, so after that, what have they given you? Height they've given, that is 4.05 meters. What was the initial velocity? Now, when you throw your ball from starting, you apply some force to it. You give that ball a velocity. That is your initial velocity. Always when you throw a ball from starting, like from down to up, your initial velocity is not 0. Your final velocity is 0. Because what happens when you throw a ball, it goes to a height, to some height, and at that height the velocity becomes 0, and after that it again comes down. So the final velocity is 0. You apply some initial velocity, that is your u. So u is not 0, v will be 0. So that is why they are asking what is your initial velocity. For that you can use any of these formulas. Suppose this or this. As I know s, what is my s? I use, suppose v square. As I know s, I can use this or this. So let's choose this to be taken. So v square is equal to u square plus 2as. Now as I told you, final velocity is always 0 when you throw a ball from down to up. So this is, they have asked to find this, plus 2 into a. I have told you it is acceleration due to gravity, that is minus 10. If you put 10, your answer is going to go wrong. Okay, into s. Okay, so after calculating this, you get your u square as 81. So your u will be square root of 81, that is equal to 9. So next, what have they asked you? How much total time will it take to come down? So again they have asked you time. So these two formulas you will use. Okay, so for that you also know what is your distance, how much height it will cover. So it will be this formula. So here you know the height. What was the height? 4.05. You know the initial velocity now. What is it? Now here the initial velocity will be different, because now how much total time it will take to come down. Now while coming down, again you go back to the first method where your g becomes 10 and not minus 10. Your initial velocity becomes 0 and your final velocity becomes a some number. Fine. So while coming down, it is initial velocity is equal to 0 and your final velocity is something, right? So here it is initial velocity is 0 plus half. Again a is 10 and not minus 10 because it's coming from up to down. Okay. Now t square is something that you need to find out. So 4.05 into 2 upon 10. So this is 5. So 4.05 upon 5. So this is what? 0.81. Okay. So this is t square, right? So t square is equal to 0.81. So t will be square root of 0.81. If 81 square root is 9. So this will be t is equal to 0.9. Okay. So second. So this is how you solve the sum. Remember when to use g as minus 10 and when to use g as plus 10. When it is down to up, g is always minus 10. Up to down, g is normal 10. Okay. Now let's move to the next sum. So what does my next sum say? Calculate the escape velocity of the moon given the mass and the radius of the moon to be 7.34 into 10 raised to 22 and 1.74 into 10 raised to 6 respectively. Okay, so now let's solve. So which is the formula that you are going to use here? Because it is given about the escape velocity, it is this formula. Escape velocity, v escape is equal to square root of 2gm upon r. So what is your m here? They have given, right? So your m, mass and radius. So this is your mass and this is your radius. 7.34 into 10 raised to 22 and radius is 1.74 into 10 raised to 6. Okay, so let's calculate. V escape is 2 into your G should be same like this. G is equal to 6.67. Your M is 7.34 into 10 raised to 22 upon 1.74 into 10 raised to 6. So after calculation, let's see what happens. So what you have to do, 2 into 6.67 into 7.34 upon 1.74. So this is under square root, and let's calculate this first. So when I cut 10 raised to 6 and 10 raised to 24, so 22 minus 6, so 10 raised to 22 upon 10 raised to 6 means 10 raised to 22 minus 6. So what is this? 16. So 10 raised to 16. So this is 16 and minus 11. So 10 raised to 16 minus 11. What will this be? 10 raised to 5. So this is what it remains. So I have done with this one, and this one. Only 10 raised to 5 remains. Now you need to solve this. Multiply this, divide it by 1.74, and then for square root, you know what you need to do? You need to first adjust this number such that here it comes out to be a even number, so that you can take it out of your square root. Okay, so under the square root, when you calculate the numerator, it happens to be 97.91. Now for easy calculation purposes, what am I going to do is, you need to consider this 97.91 as 98, and this denominator remains the same, into 10 raised to 5. So when you calculate this part, it happens to be 56.32 under square root only, into 10 raised to 5. So to make this even number, as I told you, you need to make this as even number. So to make this as even number, I shift this point here. So it becomes 5.632 under square root into 10 raised to 6. When this comes, this 10 raised to 6, you need to bring it out. This will become square root of 5.632 into 10 raised to 3. Exactly half. When you bring 10 raised to 6 out of your square root, the index, that is your power, becomes exactly half. So 6 becomes 3. And when you find out the square root of this, this will be exactly about 2 somewhere, because 2 square is 4 and 3 square is 9. So it should be between 2 and 3. So the answer for this will be 2.37, and this is what K, 10 raised to 3 is kilometer per second. So this is your escape velocity. Fine. Now let's move forward to your sum, which is given in your textbook exercises. So what does the sum say? An object takes 5 seconds to reach the ground from the height of 5 meters on the planet. What is the value of G on the ground? Now, which is the formula that you are going to use here? First, let's write down what is given. So these are your exercises sum. Solve them very carefully and pay attention to them as well. So object takes 5 seconds. So T is 5 seconds. Okay. Now height is also given. Height is 5 meters. What will be the value of G? So G is equal to what? So from which formula that are you going to use here? You need to find G. So from this you can use this formula. Can you remember this formula? During free fall we have written it. So this is free fall, right? An object takes 5 seconds to reach the ground from a height. So it is falling from a height. Therefore these are the formulas you need to use here. It's okay if you use this also, because when your object is falling from a height, your initial velocity becomes 0. So this is gone, and your A is nothing but your acceleration due to gravity. That is your G itself. So using this formula or this formula, it does not make a difference, but just for simplicity I am asking you to use this. So S is equal to 1 by 2 GT square. Now what will happen here? S, you know, it is 5. is 1 by 2. G is what? You need to find out. T is what? 5 square. So G will be 5 into 2 upon 5 into 5, that is 5 square. So this gets cut out. So 2 divided by 5 is 0.4 meter per second. Never forget to write this. So you're done with the first sum. So it was so easy. Even these kind of sum can be in your exams. Second, the radius of the planet A is half the radius of planet B. So let's start writing what is given first. So radius of planet A is half the radius of planet B. If the mass is MA, so the given mass of A is MA. Next, what must be the mass of B? So that the value of G on, so you have to also write that value of B is, that is equal to half that of value of A. So they've given you these two, this and this. You need to find MB, that is mass of B. So what will you do for that? You will use this formula, because you have R with you, you have M with you, and G is same for both of them. Like you know, G is 6.67, it is a constant. So you will use G is equal to upon R square. Fine. So for G of A, this will be MA upon RA square, and your G of B will be G MB RB square. Now you know that G will be same, so write this in form of G, capital G, GA RA square upon MA, and here your G will be GB RB square upon MB. Now we'll equate these two. After equating, what will happen? GA RA square upon MA is equal to GB RB square upon MB. Now you know the ratios of these. This is what? RA upon RB is equal to 1 by 2, and GA upon GB is 2. So these are the two ratios you already know. Now what will I do is, let's first rearrange this. So GA upon GB is equal to RB square upon RA square, and here it will be MB and MA. Okay, I'll just rearrange this. GA upon this I've taken it here, GB, MA I've taken it there, and RB I've taken it here. Now what will I do is I'll go on substituting. What is my GA upon GB? 2. So I'll write here 2 is equal to MA upon MB into, what is your RB square upon RA square? If your RA upon RB is 1 by 2, your RB upon RA will be 2, and their square will be 2 square. So here I'll write 2 square. So your MA upon MB is equal to 2 upon 2 square. That is, this gets cancelled, that is 1 by 2. So your MA is equal to 1 by 2 of MB. So this is your answer. Fine. Okay, so now let's move to the next sum. The next sum says the mass and the weight of an object on the earth are 5 kg and 49 Newton respectively. What will be their values on moon? They've also given that assume that the gravitation field on moon is equal to 1 by 6 gravitation field on the earth. Now what you do is further, now the formula that you are going to use here is W is equal to mg. So the formula is W is equal to mg here. So from this you can find G. G is equal to what? W by M. So you will find for moon and earth differently. So this will be, and for moon it will be Now you have to divide GE upon GM. What will it be? This upon this, and upon, when you do, what will happen? WM upon MM. So this becomes reciprocal when it goes into the numerator. So this is equal to WE upon ME into MM upon WM. Okay, so what is your GE upon GM? GE upon GM will be 6. What is your WE upon WM? Okay, so what they have given is, they have provided us with ME, the mass and weight of the object. So ME is 5 kg, I have told you, and your weight, that is 49. Okay, so they have provided these two. Now what you have to find is, what will be their values on the moon. So you need to find M is equal to what, and WM is equal to what. This is what you need to find out. So you have to know that the mass anywhere, be it on the moon, be it on the earth, the mass remains the same. Therefore, without thinking, you should write the mass on the moon is equal to the mass on the earth, that is 5. So here your first part gets solved. Now for the second part, we need to solve this. So WE, what is WE? 49. What is ME? 5. What is MM? Just now we know that mass on the moon and mass on the earth is same. So what you have to find is WM. So now calculate. This and this gets cut. So WM is equal to 49 upon 6. That comes out to be 8.17 Newton. Fine. And this is 5 kg. So your mass on the moon is 5 kg and your weight on the moon is 8.17 Newton. Okay, so now let's move on to the next sum. What does it say? An object thrown vertically upwards reaches a height of 500 meters. What was its initial velocity? And how long will the object take to come back to the earth? They've also given, they've asked to assume your G as equal to 10 meter per second. So, which is the formula that you are going to use here now? Object thrown vertically upwards. So first, it is from down to up. Therefore, your G won't remain 10 meter per second. You are going to consider your G first as minus 10. Okay. After that, which is the formula that you're going to use? They've asked to find what was the initial velocity. So each of them has an initial velocity. You also have a distance with you. So in given, your S is what? 500 meters. So you have S with you. Means this formula or this formula. Fine. So let's take up this formula. So what does it say? V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. Now we know that whenever we throw an object from down to up, its final velocity is 0 and you give the initial velocity to that object. So final velocity is 0. Therefore this becomes 0 is equal to U is that what you want to find plus 2. What is your A? It is your acceleration due to gravity, that is minus 10. So you will substitute minus 10 here and your S is 500 meters. So your U square will be 2 into minus 10 plus into 500. So that is 2 into 10 into 500. What did I do? I took entire this term on the other side of the equation. So this is 1000 and then one more 0. So U square. So what is U? Square root of this, and U is 100. That is meter per second. Now what is next? They have asked you to find out how long will the object take to come back. Means it is time How long means time. So for time you can use either this or this formula. So let's carry on with this formula. S is equal to ut plus half at square. Now for this, you know your S is 500 meters. You know that your initial velocity is 0. You know why initial velocity is 0 here? Because now the object is coming down. So how long will the object take to come down? Means it is coming from up to down. So for that your initial velocity is 0. Now plus 1 by 2. A is now what? Plus 10 or minus 10? Now as the object is coming from up to down, it is in the force of gravity, means your A is 10, that is acceleration due to gravity is 10 and not minus 10. And T is something that you want to find now. So let's do that. It is 500 into 2 upon 10. So what is it? That is equal to T square, right? So this is 5 and 10. So what is this? T square is equal to 100. Therefore my T is equal to square root of 100. So what is it? 10. Now this is your T, but what have they asked you? How long will the object take to come back on the earth? Means they are taking into consideration the time to go up as well as the time to come down. So initially to go up it will take first 10 seconds and while coming down it will take another 10 seconds. Means your total T is 10 plus 10, that is 20 seconds. Did you understand why did I take 20 seconds? Time taken to move from down to up plus up to down, that is 10 plus 10, therefore 20 seconds. Now let's move on to the next sum. So what does it say? It says a ball falls off a table and reaches the ground in 1 second. Assuming that g is equal to 10 meter per second, calculate its speed on reaching the ground and height of the table. So we need to find here two things. What is the first thing we need to find? Speed, and next the distance between the ground and the table, means the height of the table. So let's write down first what is given to you. They have given you time taken to reach the ground, that is 1 second. They have also given you to assume g as 10 meter per second. So what you have to find down is calculate its speed, that is v is equal to what, and also your distance, right, from ground to the table. What is the distance? That will be your height. Therefore distance is equal to what? Now for v, we'll use which of these formulas? We need to find v. So either this or this. Now as you do not know the distance, we'll first find out using this formula, because we know t, we do not know the distance here. As we know t, we'll use the first formula. This v is equal to u plus at. V is equal to, initial velocity will be 0. Why? Because you're dropping that ball from the table to the ground. So up to down. Therefore it is 0 plus 80. A is here 10. Up to down it is going. So G is 10. Into your second is only 1 second. This is 0 plus 10 into 1. That is 10. That is meter per second. Now to find S, we'll use this formula. We have T with ourselves. So S is equal to ut plus half at square. So S is equal to ut plus half at square. So what will this lead to? Again your initial velocity is 0. So 0 plus half a 10 t 1 square. So here this becomes 5. So what is S? 5 meters. Fine. This sum was really easy. Okay, so now let's move to the next sum. What does it say? The mass of the earth and moon are 6 into 10 raised to 24 kg and 7.4 into 10 raised to 22 kg respectively. The distance between them is 3.84 into 10 raised to 5 kilometer. So I've just noted down what is given: the mass of earth, mass of moon and distance. Now before proceeding to the sum, we need to take care that convert this kilometer into SI unit first, that is into meters. Always all your units should be in SI system. Follow 1 meter system, okay? Into 10 raised to, while converting I'll just multiply it with 10 raised to 3. So this is 8 meters. So my D is now 3.84 into 10 raised to 8 meters. Now we'll proceed to the sum. What does it say? So the formula that we are going to use here is F is equal to G m1 m2 upon r square. So F is equal to G me, that is mass of earth, then mass of moon upon r square, that is r d square, right? So you can write this as d. So F is equal to, your G is your constant 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11. So this is your G. So let's write down that first. Into your ME is 6 into 10 raised to 24. Your MM is 7.4 into 10 raised to 22. Upon your D is 3.84 into 10 raised to 8 meters. Okay. And then again for square I am writing down it again. Now let's solve this. So how will you solve this? First we'll multiply 6.67 into 6 into 7.4. So let's multiply that first. 6.67 into 6. So for that, what will you do? This will be 42. Okay. So the answer is 40.02. Now we'll multiply this 40.02 with 7.4. So what will it be? This is 8, 0, 0, 16. Then again a 0, 14, carry over 1, 1. And then here it will be, let's do it again. 4 2s are 8, 0, 0 and 16. Then a 0. 7 2s are 14. Carry over 1. 7 0 0 0 1. 7 zeros are 0, 0 and 7 4s are 28. Okay. So your 8, 4, 1, 6, 9 and 2. So with 3 decimal places, what do I get here? It is 296.148. So 296.148 upon, when you multiply 3.84 into 3.84, what do you get here? It is 14.7456 into. Now let's pay attention to the indices here. So what will I do? 10 raised to minus 11 first, then plus 24, plus 22, and then minus 8, minus 8, minus 8, minus 8. So let's solve this. 24 plus 22, what is it? 46, and then minus 11, what is it? 5, 3, 35, minus 8, this will be 7, 27, and then again minus 8. So this will lead to 19. So after solving this, I'll just tell you a trick how to solve this. I'm just writing down it again here. Into 10 raised to 19. Okay. Now when you solve this, what will you get is, let's assume this 296 as 300 And let's assume this 14.7 is 15 into 10 raised to 19. Okay. So now 15, 20s are 300. So 20 into 10 raised to 19. That is 2 into 10 raised to 20. Okay, so now let's move on to the next sum. So what does it say? The mass of the earth is 6 into 10 raised to 24 kg. The distance between the earth and sun is 1.5 into 10 raised to 11 meters. And if the gravitation force between the two is 3.5 into 10 raised to 22, what will be the mass of the sun? So this is very similar to this sum, only that difference is, instead of finding the gravitational force here, we need to find out the mass of the sun. The same formula we are going to use here. So what is the formula? F is equal to G ME MS for sun and then D square. Now I have already written down the given part here. So what is given? ME, G, that is the gravitational constant, D, F is the gravitational force, and you need to find out MS. So what will I do is, I will bring this MS to one side and then bring all the other variables on the other side. So let's substitute. What is F? 3.5 into 10 raised to 22 into D is 1.5 into 10 raised to 11 into 1.5 into 10 raised to 11 upon G is 6.7 into 10 raised to minus 11 into mass of earth is 6 into 10 raised to 24. So first we'll take out all our numbers on one side into 6. Okay. Multiplied by all our constants, that is indices part. 10 raised to 22, 10 raised to 11, 10 raised to 11. So let's do that. 10 raised to 22 plus 11 plus 11. What will this lead to? 10 raised to 44 upon. What is this? 11 minus 11 plus 24. So 24 minus 11. That is, this is 3 and this is 1. So 10 raised to 13. Now we'll calculate this part. So 3.5 into 1.5 into 1.5. So first for 3.5 into, what is this? When the number is ending with 5, what do we do? 25 and then 1 into the next number, that is 2. So 2.25 into 3.5, that is what we need to do now. So let's do that. 2.25 into 3.5. 5 is a 25. 10, 12, 1 and then 11, 0, 15, 1, 7 and then 6, 5, what is this? 7, 8 and 7. So 3 decimal places. So here this is 3. Upon, we have 6.6 into 6. So let's calculate that too. 6.7 into 6, 42, and then here it is 3640. So 1 decimal point. This will be 40.2 into, what is 44 minus 13? That is 1 and here 31. So this answer, what did we get? 7.875 upon 40.2 into 10 raised to 31. Now what will I do? I'll just bring this decimal point here between 7 and 8. What will that make? 78.75 upon 40.2. And as I took a decimal point forward, what will happen? This will be 10 raised to 30 because I used up that 31, the one decimal point, I've used it up. So now what will I do is, now I will consider this 78.75 as 80 and I'll consider this 40.2 as 40 into 10 raised to 30, that is equal to 2 into 10 raised to 30. 41s are 42s are. Now this considering or assuming part you will do only when you are less with time in your exams. When you are less with time, this method is okay, because rather than losing entire marks, it is okay to lose 1 or half a mark for your accuracy part, rather than messing up with entire sum and then bringing up some weird values. Like if it is close to 2, you bring the values close to 40 or 90, that will mess up your entire sum. Even though your answer in the textbook is 1.96 into 10 raised to 30, this value is also okay. They won't cut much marks for this value, okay? So, your 2 into 10 raised to 30 and mass is in kg. So, this is your answer to your last sum that is given in your textbook. Now, we are done with the entire gravitational problems. So, the difficulty of the problems is not that much. The problem is some calculation part. Your indices must be really very strong to do your gravitational sums. Also, the calculation part should be very fast so that you don't waste much time on one sum in the exam. So, practice this as much as you can so that your calculations become strong, your indices become strong, and also the concepts and also the use of these formulas that I've given you. Please write them down on one paper and read them every day so that you don't forget them. Okay? Thank you.